And this is episode 14 of Ultraviolet Grasslands. Right. Let's see. Do y'all want to go around and say some stuff that you remember or enjoyed from last time? Any order? I
I
believe we're
remember
currently at
correctly.
fallen number.
I remember we were camped out in the near the obelisk thingy, and I know I went and found a camp of other people who were very suspicious of me, but eventually were like, "All right, cool, bye," and we just parted ways. Remember that?
We we
Let.
brought on board Otokar the bear,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
who I believe is the bear shapeshifter, but they haven't shifted yet, so I'm not 100% certain.
It was last week where we it was last week was it last week when Phaedred used magic to enter
Yep.
the giant green tower
Correct. Yeah. And
and found a yeah turns out that it was a some kind of it was some kind of gate, but entering the gate was very dangerous, and it was a dull way, which means it's a magical passage that should go somewhere, but it takes about as long as it does to actually go there, which makes me wonder why you would use magic instead of just going there. But I suppose that's,
No dangers along the way.
it's a dangerous place outside.
quote, no dangers, unquote, is the way I was reading that.
Well, it sounded like there were no dangers inside the Dullway. The question about what happens to your body is, um, like, is it that your body has to end at one place in order to reform at another place?
Or
Or,
maybe or was it the way I chose to enter
yeah,
by forcing my way in through magic? Was that the problem?
right. Because my impression of the Dullway, based on what you were able to remember from your trainings, was it sounds like they're actually pretty safe if you use them correctly.
Mhm.
The risk is not the dull way. The risk is if you open a portal to something that's not a dull way.
Right. Like a soul mill.
Yeah, soul mill, bad choice. Um, and since they don't
Not really
apparently
a
come
gate.
with labels, like the other thing we did was we ended somewhere in the like Umber Hills or something.
All a number. Yeah.
Fallen
Yeah,
Umber is where we've headed
right.
to.
And we had just watched some magical armor sort of patrol a village that no longer exists.
Hmm.
Back
And
in Wait and back in Waystone, we found a like weird religious like place of
yeah.
veneration where people stuck preserved feet into the wall.
Their souls.
Soul.
Yeah, they put their souls in.
Yeah, but now we're at Fallen Number. And yeah, I don't we did not do let me see. We did not do discoveries for Umber yet, did we?
We have not.
Cool. That's right. In fact, we just arrived. So did we spend supplies? I think we just yeah, we did that, rest there. Great. We will say it's discovery time then. Who would like to roll for discoveries? If anyone, not required, of course.
I mean, I'm always down for discoveries.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Nine. Well,
Nine.
D20.
A
D20, right?
D20. Cool. Yeah. There we go. Do, 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 do. Fantastic. Discovery. Yeah, great. You are actually going to get one, it looks like. So let me figure out which one that is. Random discovery time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you were holed up in one of the like abandoned like plantation houses. This is like this place used to be like a chitin cap mogul's place. Chitin cap being like appropriate like mushroom kind of fungal hard stuff that was harvested for armor and weapons and whatnot, but long since mostly tapped out, and the civilization there has fallen. Um, I think in one of the rooms you discover uh, in one of the rooms you discover I think it's a not a paper notebook, but like a notebook sized kind of notation tablet. That's like it was like a clay tablet that was a soft clay tablet that was carved, that has something on it. Who's good with languages, do we think?
I don't know if that falls under Phaedred's wizard training.
Hmm.
Well, but also Adoron's a protocol
You're a
specialist,
protocol expert.
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
expert. So, and also Adoron has good thought.
Hmm. Okay.
Traveler is the only thing I have that could remotely relate
Yeah,
to that, I
I
think.
mean, I have a level of traveler too, but I think protocol expert's more specific to understanding cultures and languages.
I think actually, Phaedred's like the most
Okay.
metropolitan. This is actually this tablet is written in Safranian, the Yellow Lands sort of dialect,
I was going to
and
say, and Phaedred is from the Decapolis.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like it's a little bit old timey. It's a little bit slangy, kind of like like the
Gee whiz, that's the cat's pajamas.
yeah, the English equivalent of like a 1920s gangster talk, only in in whatever we're speaking here. But it's pretty easy to uncover.
That doll said she got to ice that goon.
Exactly, exactly. And there's a place about. Let me get my other random generator up. Random tables. There's a place for us. There's a place about 5 days northwest where whoever I think may have been, not whoever stayed here last, but who stayed here sometime in the last century or so, um, 5 days northwest, found a how do you pronounce that? Stele, stele, a stone, a large stone, like a large, not a monolith or an obelisk, but like a large standing stone that was inscribed, and it's trying. I think the person who engraved this was some kind of archaeologist or linguist or poet or something. And they were here looking for this stele of the pierced blossom, and said that they think that it holds so some historical, artistic, linguistic significance, and that they will be setting off in the morning, and then there's no more entries, and the stone was left here. So that is a discovery. 5 days north. Yeah, Stella.
And then Stele. So a question about this tablet, is the tablet something that's reusable, or is it something that
Um,
was once?
it looks like it may have been reusable, but it's very old and dried up now.
Okay.
You might be able to find a way to repurpose it if you want to fiddle with it, but
It's basically a clay tablet.
clay, yeah,
Okay.
nothing special. It's just clay.
I've always heard it Stele, and what I just looked up says Stele or Steel, either one.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I do have another question. So, is there any of the chitin around since we're in the area where chitin was used to make things?
Um, Let me open up my other map here. Very prepared. UVG big map. Here at the Fallen Umber, there are there is chitin cap here that can be kind of extracted for uh, basically like trading time for chitin cap.
Right.
It's not as abundant as it was when clearly this was a bustling hub of industry, but you can basically go prospecting for it if you like.
How much is it worth?
About 100 cash per sack. Or
Okay.
more if you can talk someone into it.
My question is, if I can find a tiny sample of chitin,
Mhm.
sticking it inside my body and using my internal processes, am I able to manipulate it and reshape it?
Reshape the chitin or reshape yourself.
The chitin. I know I can reshape myself.
The chitin's like very like it's like bug shell. It's very very stiff and difficult to work. I think
Okay.
you.
Just do it.
I think you might be able to, but it might be difficult. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You can try, and it's not a rare thing. Like there's people with chitin armor and weapons and
Yeah.
stuff all over the place. But you're welcome to try that if you like. Uh,
I'll at least well, I don't want to take up time on it if it's not like if it was something that I could learn to do as a skill, it might be.
oh. Would you like to learn a skill like chitin crafter or something like that?
Yeah, I think that might be interesting.
I think we could, give me a thought roll. I think
Okay.
I'm good at that. But a thought roll plus your master fleshes play.
Yeah.
For a 20.
Okay. Well, where's my dice roller? There's my dice roller. Okay, so oops, D20. That is a 19 plus 13
9.
Yeah, plus 13. That will
plus
definitely do
13. So
it.
that's 32.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, take 1 out of 3 of chitin crafter.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll assume you spent like a day on that.
Okay.
So I am interested in checking out this Stele.
Yeah.
We've got a fair amount of supplies. Let me check the map.
Is like chitin, armor something that's fairly common or uncommon or like
Yeah, it's fairly common. Let me tell you exactly how common it is.
'cause I certainly think it'd be really cool looking to have some external chitin protection.
Yeah. One of the things you can start off with is a animated furry chitin kite. Yeah, like you can get chitin add-ons to vehicles. Like chitin boots are $1. Um, a chitin cuirass, a fine chitin cuirass is 600. So depending on what you want, there's it like leather basically is the equivalent. Maybe a little bit harder than leather, like boiled leather, boiled hardened leather, but very more stiff. Um, you're interested in checking out that? So it's about a 5-day trip. Are folks okay with that?
I am okay with that.
I'm always
Are
down
other folks okay with that?
for adventure.
Yep. We're here to experience the world.
Adventure it is then. Um, cool. The Umber is. I'm not gonna say it's abandoned. The area there are still travelers hereabouts. Once you head northwest off the beaten path, however, travel does fall off a bit. Let me add that to the little map here for myself here. Um, so your travel goes pretty uneventfully, which is nice. And um, it's not just off the like the main caravan trail. There are other small paths going off here and there, and the sort of directions on the tablet like lead you far off of those. Um, and it almost takes you by surprise as you come upon it. It's you come over a rise, and then there's a sort of not a valley, but a depression, a dell, maybe I guess it might be, where there is the sort of like still like grayish, tannish, steppe-ish area that you've been in the entire time. And in this sort of depression is a massive stone. It's garnet colored. It's not a gemstone. It's just like very vivid, kind of like almost like the colors play in the sun. It's sort of a
Kind of
salmon.
a shimmering reddish color.
Yeah, it's not like magical. It's just like very cool rock. Um, and yeah, it is you know 1,000 tons. That's very very large rock, and there are carvings all over it. Um, some of which look kind of familiar, and many of which are indecipherable to initially. Um, the um, the inscription that you can read in whatever version of the common we have here, um, the and it is also in all the different Rainbow Lander tongues in I think you can make out a few words of like steppe nomad stuff. um I think even Phaedred recognizes some of the letters or symbols. I think you've seen a couple of them in your study of the Black City. It's like in Black City alphabet type sigils and glyphs. But the what you can read is indeed a poem that has been carved into it. It is described as mawkish. It's a poem about a blossom that is in love with herself, plucked to adorn a noble's dining jacket in her unique beauty, where she wilted and died alone. And it's kind of carved around the stone. So as you walk around the stone, you read the entire thing, and it's almost just ringed with these, dozens of different languages. Um, what would you like to do?
Interesting. I think I'm going to copy the poem down.
Mhm.
Scribe that into my journal that I sometimes write in. This is the sort of thing that I wish we had. Wish we had an artist or or like an old tech camera to take a picture of this thing because looks pretty cool. Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, let's yeah, I think Phaedred's going to just kind of like poke around, see if there's anything of see if there's any and see if he can try to I think Phaedred wants to try to decipher any of the other carvings to see if there's anything more of interest here. I don't think Phaedred is super interested in like trying to deface this thing by chipping away some of the rock.
Sure. Give me a thought roll.
Thought roll.
Yeah.
Any skills come into play here, or just straight up thought?
I think just straight up thought here.
That would be a 17.
Fantastic. Yeah. Um, So you, as you look at the other languages, there's kind of like high and low common. There's red lander, yellow lander, orange lander speech. There's I think you probably know a couple words of like dwarven that you make out there. Um, and I think partying with the Lime Nomads, you probably picked up one or two words of that. Um, and I think what you can tell is it's the same poem carved in all these different languages.
Okay, so this is like a Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, kind
Got a
of.
Rosetta Stone kind of thing here.
Yeah,
So
there's probably like, it's hard to tell when the glyphs get weird, but there's probably around 30 or 40 languages on this thing. And it's
huh.
like the three of you or four of you, I guess, you put your arms around it and it's maybe just barely. It's probably a good, uh, you know, uh, 8-10 feet in diameter. It's not a perfect column. It's just a large stone. Um, but yeah, so it's a fairly long poem, but there's a lot of it there. Um,
Okay.
the translation in different tongues comes off differently, but it's all clearly from like the languages that you do know. It is clearly the same poem.
It's clearly the same poem. Okay.
So what does friend Atakar see in it?
Um, I think he. I think his impression is that it is juvenile might be too harsh, but kind of just like really sappy. Like, oh, like I've known people like this, and they've always their emotions outlive them. If that makes any sense. I've lost all use for this manner of thing many many years ago.
So I want to make a protocol roll, protocol and thought.
Hmm.
I want to see if I can decipher the original purpose.
Yeah, I think you don't even need a roll for that.
Okay, good.
Um, I think the purpose was just I think from the language of the poetry, I think you can tell like this is although it's not the best poem in the world, it's probably the pinnacle of this particular artist's doing, and they felt the need to um, you know uh, immortalize it in every way possible.
Okay,
It's a pure monument of ego.
okay, okay. My next question then is, is the stone something that might be found anywhere, or was the stone
Yeah,
dragged?
yeah, it is nice, Gneiss.
Right?
It's just like common sedimentary rock. Yeah,
Okay.
I know it from Dwarf Fortress. That's about it. Metamorphic.
I was gonna say I think it's metamorphic actually. I think nice. I think nice is metamorphic. Just
Yeah.
remembering like
Bands of quartz, feldspar, and mica.
yeah. I was going to say like, if I remember from like seventh grade Earth science a bajillion years ago.
Mhm. I should know from the Dwarf Fortress, but yeah.
So the last thing that Adoron will do is Adoron is going to, because this is carved, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to meld my hands into the text
Mhm.
and get a feel for the different shapes of the different languages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do that. There is an awful
And
lot of text. Probably
Yeah, I mean,
what's the formula? Like 30 times, like over a couple thousand linear feet of text, right?
yeah, and I might
I
not
think
commit all of it, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I think what Phaedred would like to do is again take out his journal, and this could be useful as like a Rosetta Stone sort of thing. So I think what he wants to do is just kind of like take some time to like in that in his like journal. I think he wants to like probably take several pages of his journal to like copy down the sigils
Mm-hmm.
of each of these, like however many languages there are, including the ones that I know. Line across the page of like language one, language two, language three,
Mm-hmm.
so we can try to line it up so that we could conceivably use this as a means of translating things in the future.
Yeah. Um, how long are you willing to spend doing that?
Like doing the actual copying,
Yeah.
like doing one. How long would it take to? I mean, how long would it take to like make one copy of that?
There's so the text is extensive, and
Oh, okay.
when you when you get to the weirder languages, it's almost like it's not that you can't transcribe it. It's like almost like the letters are slippery as you're like looking at them and reading them. Kind of like when you're trying to read in a dream, kind of like oh,
Got it.
like
Like trying to copy something that's. I mean, as someone who doesn't read them, like trying to copy, like I don't know, like Chinese characters.
yeah. It's like you can get like you want to get it right, right?
I want to get it right, so you got to
Yeah.
take the time.
Yeah, so you can definitely do it. I think as you get to the weirder languages, it will take more time. Uh,
Okay.
I
How,
you could
I'll
spend
ask how long will it take me to like do one copy of all of these languages?
all of them would take a couple weeks.
Oh, really? Oh,
That's
okay.
extensive
Oh, okay.
this other thing.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
don't know if I want to spend that. I don't know if I want to spend that kind of time then.
I think you can get like the basic, like the like the top 10 or 20 like known languages. That will only take a few days, I think, to get.
Okay.
Once you start getting into the languages you're not familiar with at all, but it's going to take more time.
Yeah, I was figuring this would take like the better. I was thinking this would take the better part of a day or two. If it's going to take weeks, I don't think we don't have the supplies to do that, to like camp out here for weeks.
I mean, you can also forage.
True.
So, okay, what kind, so just looking around, because I think this is an interesting project.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of foodstuffs might Adoron and Modan be able to gather while Phaedred was because performing this task? Because
Yeah,
a Rosetta Stone is a really, really useful
it is.
thing to have.
This is, it's abandoned but not barren, so it's pretty standard forage. You can, you can make your forage roll more. Both you and Modan are travelers, so you could both forage and probably
And an autocar could help with this, presumably, too.
yeah.
I mean, I would love to be able to take the time to like copy everything. If it's going to take like what like 3 or 4 weeks or.
I
So
would
would
say
we be able?
a week would get you a like a basic copy of it. That is probably pretty good. I think the longer, like you can get all the characters down mostly. I think the more time you spend, the more accurate it will be.
So how about this? What if? Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh, what if for each week we spend, you give Phaedred a roll, and depending on how well he rolls, that's how well he's copied it.
yeah, I think that's about right.
Is that?
Okay.
And then what I would say is, besides foraging, can we, the others of us, can we work on skills while we're here?
Yeah, it would be standard wilderness week. So you
Right.
would do your supplies, misfortune, all the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think this is interesting, and a Rosetta Stone is very, very useful.
yeah.
I agree.
Modan,
I
how do
would
you feel
agree.
about all this?
I'm wondering. Yeah, I don't know if I need to seek out people, but if we're going to take, like, if it's possible for me to spend time working up that third rank of fighter while we're doing this.
Hmm. Um, I
Like, I don't,
I think that would require training with someone. I felt like as we train skills, like the first rank is like almost a gimme. Second rank is like we're gonna work a little bit more, and third rank is like we got to find the guy to do the last one.
So what if
But yeah, go for
and
it.
what if Adoron and Ottokar used combined arms to attack Modan? Because Ottokar's the bear,
well, I was
and
about to say, I
Adoron
wondered if
fights.
Autocar could spar.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think
But also,
fun
it's just
idea.
Adoron probably fights better than Adoron. But at this point, Adoron has become a shifting flesh fighter,
Hmm,
which
hmm.
you would find very challenging, conceivably.
Yeah, I think at the risk of some harm, that's a totally valid plan. How does Modan feel about that?
And like sparring with a bear.
A bear and a flesh fighter.
Just take it easy on me, guys. I'm learning.
Cool. If you're down for that, let's go ahead and do our week procedure then. So we're gonna spend supplies first off. Oh, and I took the liberty of putting your cash into sacks because
Oh, okay.
2,500 cash fits in a sack. So once you start piling up cash lying around, that starts taking up space.
Got it.
And
Okay.
the dragon cutter has
I was wondering what
a
these. I was wondering what that sack of cash was. So
that's your cash. That's your piggy bank.
okay.
Cool. Spend supplies. Let's roll a misfortune. Who would like to do that? Or who will do that?
I'll do it. 11?
11. Cool. Yeah, the land is silent. There's no particular misfortune. Nothing passes except for time. And I think notably, there are, through the week, you are far enough off the beaten path that not only do you not see anyone, but usually when you're camping, you at least see the lights of other caravans, going in the distance. And there's not even that, especially. And I think probably that's to your advantage because you're in this little depression, so you can't really see anyone, even if you were not in the depression, but you're unlikely to be set upon unexpectedly. So that is to your advantage as well. Let me roll our encounters then. There they are. Oh, interesting. Hmm. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And you are going to be wandering around foraging and stuff, right? So I think who's going to be doing foraging primarily, do you think?
Probably Ottakar and Adoron. My guess is that Modan is practicing. I, just tell me if this is right, Heath, but it seems like Modan would be practicing his fighter skills while also watching over Phaedred.
Mhm.
Sounds reasonable.
Cool. So yeah, Adoron, as you all are foraging, not too far away, in fact, very close to the camp. Um, less than 15, 20 minutes walk away. You come across a large dead kind of like rabbit pig hybrid, about about pig size, right? Um, and I think you probably noticed it before as you were like making your rounds looking for whatever, and it seems to have been like kind of overnight colonized by these like kind of pale mushrooms, these fungus things, um, and you can tell it has done some quick work on it. They just fruited overnight and have eaten away half of it easily already, and you can almost see them, like if you watch them, they're very slowly sort of like pulsating as they're eating away at it. They don't react to your presence. They react as a regular mushroom would to your presence. It's just this is a thing you have noticed now.
Okay.
They're glistening.
Listening rooms.
Cool. So Phaedred is translating. Let's get a thought roll off of you.
A thought roll. Okay. That is another 17.
Another 17. Great. Um, Cool, 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 cool. Let me get that. Games. Um, yeah. So you have gotten everything translated like into the like all the Rainbow Land dialects, um, common and high. There's a like a Decapolis dialect that you're familiar with. That's kind of um, like kind of a trade slash sailing sailor patois, but all the colors, even like the specific Redland district, like the sort of enclave outcasts, and you think you've got there's a couple of dialects of Dwarven in there, who are like kind of the Redland-ish area. There's you've got your steppe languages figured out pretty well. I think with the concordance of the stuff that I think you've managed to piece together a lot more of the steppe language, and even a language that you probably aren't super familiar with. You probably recognize it by shape. Um, it's kind of like a Sylvan language, Elven, if we will, but like elves in this setting are like they're called the evil and they are extinct. But you'll still see it in the woodlands to the west north, yeah, the left side of the circle C, whichever, yeah, north. So yeah, you've got a good chunk of them
Okay.
figured. Yeah. Let me make a note of that.
I would think I'd like to take like at least one more week to get some of the weirder languages.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
But
Yeah.
I'll let the other members of the party like do their forage rolls.
yeah. Cool. Let's do foraging. I think that is there's I realized and was confirmed that one of the page references from the GM screen sheets does not exist in the book at all.
Oh, I wonder if it was a reference to like the earlier edition of the game.
Yeah, yeah. Someone was like, "What do you do about this?" in the Discord, and he's like, "I oh yeah, that page isn't in there anymore. Sorry." um, Yep, and it's the foraging one. Great. But that's cool. But the actual table is on the inside, so there's just not a detail page in the book. So yeah, go ahead and give me a forage plus traveler roll. Yeah, D20 plus traveler. Plus I thought, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my traveler's 3 and thought is 4. So 17.
17. Great. You're able to rustle up 3 sacks of supplies. Perfect. And this is I don't know, why don't you paint the scene for me? Like what uh you're a traveler, you're skilled at foraging. What are a couple of things that you found here in Fallen Umber that you haven't really seen anywhere else, but you figure it's safe. And that's food, water, what else, wherever else you need.
Right. So the first thing is that uh, Adoron spends some time watching to see if there's any wildlife, which I presume there is some wildlife.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's the normal amount of wildlife.
Yeah. So then they make a note of what kinds of foods the wildlife seem to be eating, what they seem to be avoiding.
Mhm.
Probably mostly plants in that context. And then Adoron is going to do a variety. So Adoron will do quite a bit of gathering where they look for root vegetables.
Mhm.
And we are after winter, so we're probably starting to get spring, like early spring plants.
Mhm.
And so Adoron will gather like flowers and things. Adoron has very simple boundaries when it comes to organic processing. So for Adoron, it's not as hard,
Yeah.
but Adoron will try and pick things that um, seem like they might be good for the regular people.
Mhm.
And I would imagine probably a lot of like root vegetables and um, like I said, early spring plants. Adoran might try and uh,
And there's a lot of like fungal activity in this area, so I reckon
oh,
you would probably also get some good
yeah,
like
okay. And Adoran would like so this is Adoran would certainly do a self-test on the fungus that they collected.
Mhm.
Um, actually, this brings to mind. So Adoran will bring a whole bunch of samples back of a whole bunch of different things because honestly, Adoran has never tried to feed somebody before,
Right.
except for themselves. So Adoran is initially going to gather a whole bunch of different things, bring them back to camp, and say, which of these can you eat?
Fantastic. Great. We got a smorgasbord.
Yeah,
Um,
and of course, Adoran will prepare some tea and make a correct ritual meal of it. And anybody who's willing to volunteer, uh, that's the first round. And then after that, Adoran will have a better idea of what to seek out. Also, Adoran has learned that the traveler should not take all
mhm.
if there are berries on a bush, you do not take all the berries, you leave some for later travelers.
That's right.
Adoran will be careful not to over harvest from any one area.
Cool. I love it. Modan, can you talk to me a little bit about what your training with um, Adoron and not Octorok, um, Ottokar? Uh,
Okay.
what does that look like?
I feel like at this point, I've been taught a lot of the theoretical things about fighting techniques, and but then it's one of those things where it's one thing to know them and then to put them into practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I just need some sparring partners to kind of try to hopefully like you do in a karate class,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, well, let's try not really fight, but kind of to see if I can take you down or deflect that, or oh, I wasn't expecting that blow there,
Yeah.
and then but I'm trying to also figure out that's probably what I'd be doing with them, and then like in the spare time when I'm working on my own is probably when I'd be working on like things like shooting skills and thing target
Yeah.
practice and
Yeah.
things that I could do on my own to refine those skills. But
I would say that one of the interesting things is you've been trained by people who are trained fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Ottakar, but if Ottakar fights like a bear and if Adoran fights like an amorphous blob,
yeah,
we will throw chaos at you.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
You
be
need to
different
learn how
than
to expect
those
things.
Yeah.
than
And you've
those.
also been trained by polybodies. So you've been
Yeah.
trained as like a bunch of guys trying to jump at once.
Bunch of very regimented
Yeah. And now you're getting
uniforms.
attacked by a bear.
Yeah,
um,
that's
cool.
rank 3.
Yeah, I think I think since you're training with Adakar, I think this is going to be a D20 plus strength for you. Yeah,
Okay, 20 plus strength. My whopping 2 strength. Look out.
and we're looking for a 12 or better.
Well, that's not gonna do it.
Ooh, all right. So options are train more next week, or let's spend some hero dice.
Yeah, let's spend some hero dice because
Well, because and Phaedred's going to wants to spend another week translating too, right?
Yep, yep, I do.
Okay. So you and folks take hero dice, 2 hero dice up to your level again if you haven't already. So yeah,
well, yeah, in that case, there's probably no reason with it being that low. Probably not just waste a hero dice. I'll probably just rest
I was
up.
gonna say you got to spend a lot of hero dice and
Yeah.
roll well for it to,
Yeah, exactly.
to get a 2 up to a 12.
So I might as well just rest and
I
try
think
again next week.
the downside is you're going to take some damage because there were probably some mishaps with a roll like that.
Sure,
On a
that
card,
happens.
not a teacher, just a bear. Um, so ooh,
It's hard to go easy when you're a bear.
do, 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 do. Um, Can I just get a defense roll from you? Just a d20 versus your 11.
Sure. So a 9 is the roll.
Okay, you're going to take 10 life damage.
Oh,
Ouch.
Adocar went a little hard on you.
there.
Yeah, I'll say.
Did not realize his strength. And make sure you're taking off your life, not your
Yeah,
back.
I took it roll in there.
Yeah, I think it was a rough week for Modan. For sure.
Maybe next week Modan can train with Adoron, and Adoron
Hey.
will not flatten you.
I did. I mean, the good thing is I learned a lot.
You
Oh
did.
yeah.
Maybe you prefer to train with Shrubby this time.
Right.
Who's our
I was going to say, Shrubby's back at
Pygmy Llama,
Shrubby's
yeah.
back at La Sarai. We now have Chaz. I now
That's
have
the Pygmy
Chaz.
Llama.
I now have Chaz, the pygmy llama.
Right. We also have a poisonous toad if you'd like to be bit by a poisonous toad, but
I don't think that's really necessarily going to teach you how to fight.
I can practice dodging the pygmy llama's spit.
Yeah. Let's see. End of the lineup. Everyone's been doing stuff. There's no rest. We are tallying extra days, which we have. So we get a free week in here. So back around to spending supplies.
Okay. Well, I added the three sacks of supplies that Adoron found too, and so I'm going to immediately spend them.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that Adocar can forage because he's lived in the wild by himself for quite some time. So
I
I'll
have a question. Can I be training something also?
I think if you're foraging, that's your task for the week.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool. Next misfortune roll then.
I can roll that one. The flat d20 is a 5.
Yeah. So this
I think
will
I may be spending tell me what it is. I may be spending a hero die on that.
this is going to get you lost for a little bit. Probably, after you're wandering off to clear your mind after delving into some of the more arcane languages, or maybe got disoriented, and that's going to add a few days to our tally as track you down.
I'm gonna spend a hero die and adjust that roll.
Wise.
Making it a 7, which isn't all that much better.
This will get you a little meeting with a ghost, which is also going to lose you some a day and some supplies.
Ghost? Good. I try to sell him I try to sell him some dream magic.
Great. Yeah. So I think there's so there are buildings nearby. There are small cottages and farming. Like this is still like the outskirts of Umber, right? And in one of these small farming villages, interesting. So we're gonna ding you a day. I think you actually kind of like fall into a reverie there, and you lose a day sleeping.
Okay.
And it's also going to burn some supplies. It's gonna burn 4 supplies.
Ouch. That's the ghost uses supplies, or like what?
So
like,
this is
what's the fiction on that?
I think as you're kind of in, you're in this, and you're basically kind of like in this like deep dream state for at least a day. And I think you are getting this like kind of echo superimposed, like you almost like you dream that you wake and are wandering around this place, and it's kind of a half image of it in like full swing, basically. It's a small a small village of a dozen people tops, and they are they are not the Chitin moguls here. They are just making it. But everything seems to be going well, and they're kind of like time echoes, so they're not like physical ghosts here. Um, but I think you do get a good understanding of like what the I think this is going to give you a bonus on your translate roll
Okay.
because you're getting a good understanding. But I think the toll that it's taking on your on your mind on your mind and spirit as you're basically like lost in this ghost world for a day. I think your body is running hot, and it's it's not healing, but you're going to require a lot more, a lot more
Okay.
water, a lot more
Got it.
supplies
Okay.
that you're using. So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, we'll do it.
Am I able to make a sale?
Um, so this is like echoes of the past, so they're not actual like.
Oh, they're not actually there.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
It's almost like a time slip almost.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
Yeah.
as far as the 4 extra sacks, can we do that and just say that Phaedred's consumption doubles for like 4 weeks or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, let's do that. I think that's fair. Cool.
Okay. That
So you
works.
can have 2 people for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay. That works.
I like
That
that.
works.
Let's get Modan that next roll for training a little bit more gingerly this time.
The same strength roll with D20.
Yeah.
No better.
Oh man.
No better.
Would you like to spend some hero dice here? Because you're gonna get hurt again. And I think I don't think damage is gonna be the thing. I think it's gonna be some burdens that's gonna ding your rolls. Like conditions.
Guess might as well. It's not probably. I mean, only D6s, right?
Yeah.
So that's
And we're looking for a 12 altogether. So
super weak. So I guess been at least 2.
yeah.
That'll bring the 7.
That's a
Here
9.
comes number 3.
Hey, that's a 6. There we go. We'll call that last
Well,
one.
what? All right.
Yeah. I think 3 hero dice will do it regardless of the roll. So. Cool. So yeah, what is your breakthrough? Like you are going above and beyond here. You're pushing through your injuries. You're using the things that you learned from Black Mask, in new contexts. Like what's your breakthrough that pushes you over?
I sort of think it's one of those situations where like things I've reached that point where like I'm getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the this is not how it's supposed. You're supposed to get better for it. But then like every time I try, I do worse. And I'm just like, what? God damn it. And until finally, like I think there's one point when I'm like hurt and tired and frustrated that I just sort of get into a flow state with adrenaline. And just like it almost becomes like my brain truly believes it's fight or flight. Like it's not just training, but like gets in that state of like, this is fucking real. We're just because can't distinguish between training and real anymore.
Yeah,
because of the pain and everything. And so just sort of what my body does on autopilot during that time, then, adds a little bit to the muscle memory. Also, once I'm able to analyze it after the fact, I was like, oh, I see like the way I deflected that. And then I was actually keeping an eye on my flank, even though I was attacking over here to the right. And I can sort of almost like post-mortem what my automated adrenaline defenses did.
Sherlock Holmes thing. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of reverse engineer some things to try and keep in mind.
Awesome. Cool. That will put you over and get you skilled at fighter.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Oh, did it cost me though?
Oh, did it? Adoron, are you foraging again?
Yes, because I must.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we are running low on supplies, so foraging is a good thing.
I'm
thinking next time we're in civilization, we might want to buy another cart and just put it full of supplies, since we're since outposts are now kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
And we were using my uh
Traveler plus thought, I think it was.
yeah, okay. So that is 24.
That will get you 24. 24 will get you 4 sacks of supplies. Great. Oh, do, 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 do. Um, all this stuff is going to be shifted a week because we need to take care of that extra week from the traveling time. Let me roll quick for encounter for that bonus week.
And that's another week. That's going to cost an extra another week of supplies.
Supplies, yep. 8 out here. 2. Great. So I think I think the encounter is you see like as you're protected in the Dallas somewhat, but you still watch the horizon, and I think the amusing thing that you see are those chitin armors from before. They have like you see them kind of stumbling around on the horizon, like just the specks of it. It looks just like, oh, there's a caravan nearby. Oh, there's no lights. Oh, they're not sleeping. Oh, it's those dumb armors. Just kind of like get your Skywalker goggles and keep looking at that. Yeah, so they're just kind of like they've made it out of the city and they're just bumbling around the steps right now. Cool. Let's go back and do another misfortune roll. Someone who hasn't done one yet.
I did the last one, so I'll let someone else do it.
I think we're to. Are we at Adoron now?
Misfortune? Okay. And that's what kind of roll?
Just straight up.
Just straight D20. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Yeah. So this will get you a ding to your charisma. And the description is a dry, flaky rash. And I can definitely put more context around that if you like. Charisma can get healed eventually, but you would take two charisma damage from that. Do you want to take that or roll some hero dice?
Nah, take it.
Cool. So yeah, charisma is going to be -2. I think maybe like your curiosity with the chitin, as you're foraging around trying different things, I think some of it kind of like caught and metastasized a bit, and you're getting this kind of like shingly, flaky stuff where it's kind of hardening your flesh in ways that you don't want it to, and it's taking effort to maintain your flexibility. Cool. So there's that. Let me roll for this. Visible. Ooh. Uh-huh. This is for Phaedred, yeah. Again, I think you can see on the it's not on the horizon. It is definitely closer than the armors were. But it looks like a large caravan is traveling. At least
Ooh.
at least a dozen.
That might be good to make contact with, just so that we can try to buy some supplies from them.
Yeah, yeah. Would you like to approach them?
Phaedred would, yes.
Fantastic. Are you taking anyone with you?
What's to come, and
I'm pleasant and people like me.
It's true.
Give us a bonus on
think,
reaction rolls.
and I'll take the I'll take that one cart. We'll take the one cart that has that doesn't have a whole lot in it other than like our money.
Great. Let's see.
Hopefully we can buy some supplies off of these guys.
Yeah, and I think let me double check I've got the right thing here.
So I think Adoron will hang out with Ottokar
Mhm.
if Ottokar would like to avoid. Um,
Yeah, Artica's not super social feeling, so
yeah,
yeah,
and we'll just have tea together.
yeah. Um, so yeah, so this is a caravan. There's at least a dozen carts, and more people than that. And I think as you get closer to them, there are a few things that become apparent. They are they don't appear to be all human. There are, in fact, I don't think any of them are standard human. There are, some. There are
So
some.
like dwarves, quarterlings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there are some like marmot folk, and some like they look like they're like golem shaped, but they're more like bioorganic. They're not vomish at all. You don't get that whiff at all. But definitely like different, a menagerie of different kinds of people that aren't human shaped, at least. The other thing that only becomes apparent when you get closer to them is that they're not completely solid. They are.
Oh, is this a ghost caravan?
This is a ghostly caravan. Yes. Um,
Ooh.
they are bearing bundles and bundles of stuff. They
Ghost stuff.
ghost stuff and
I
stuff. Yeah,
I will try to hail them.
yeah. um, let me. So who? Modan has the plus on the reaction rolls, right? Pleasant. Um,
He
and
hails everybody he sees.
Got the charisma. Great. So let me get a reaction roll. Your pleasant plus your charisma. So that's gonna be +5.
My dice are broken.
I'm gonna spend a hero die on that.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Make that an 8.
That's an 8. Great. So that's an 8 +5, which is a 13.
Is it because I'm all beat up and ugly looking?
Well,
So
I rolled a 5 on my hero die plus the 3 makes it an 8.
yeah, +5 for
Yeah, +5.
yeah. Cool. So some of them, so there are some uh there's marmot folk, there's some like people who are like pig minotaurs kind of, um like a people who are like a kind of like a cluster of like a cluster of prairie dogs kind of. And as you approach and hail them, a couple of them like turn and ready some ranged weapons, or what looks like ranged weapons at you. They don't fire,
Yeah,
but
I've
they
got
are
my
unfriendly at the moment.
got it. Well, we've got our got like Phaedred has his hand up and says like, "Hello, friends. We merely wish to trade, and I may possibly have a business opportunity for you."
um, they, I think they continue moving, and the ones who are clearly like the caravan guards main like they do not lower their weapons as they continue moving along.
Got it.
What would
Well,
you do?
I'd like to. I look to Modan and I would like to just like pace them so that we're still in. Like I don't want to close, but I
Yeah.
will ask. Is there? You know. May I speak to? May I speak to one of your leaders? I
They don't respond verbally, and they don't open fire. They don't feel like they're friendly, but they don't stop you from following them.
Okay.
Um, at this distance, you can tell that their goods are also insubstantial at the moment. And I think Phaedred, with your experience with the that sort of that village, I think you can tell that they are kind of like, I think they are disembodied here. They also have that sort of uh, flavor of sort of time shifting,
Okay.
but they are definitely uh, like they seem like ghosts. They don't seem like time echoes.
Okay. So, I
They
mean,
are,
if we were able to buy ghost stuff, I mean, if they gave it to us, could we make it substantial? Or
they're
do
made.
I know magics that would be able to do that? Or
I'm sure we could figure out a way to do that. Right now, they are hostile, however, and your decent roll kept them from attacking you immediately.
okay,
um, they don't seem to mind you following them though.
okay.
They stay aware. So the question is, how long do you want to follow them?
I wouldn't mind if it's okay with Modan. I wouldn't mind following them for like maybe another day and like ask to, maybe if I could. I mean, I know Modan was the one who like made the initial approach, but perhaps I could try a sales pitch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think as you follow them and night falls, you can, you see that
I mean, do they camp for the night?
they
I mean, they're
do.
ghosts.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they as night falls, they are kind of phosphorescent. They give off a faint glow. They like force ghost almost like this faint blue glow as night falls, and they go through the motions of building a fire and making tents and tying their animals up and getting their supplies together. There is no fire,
Okay.
but
I
the
think when they,
place where they would
I,
have built a fire kind of glows as if there was one.
and again, if it's okay with Modan, when they do stop and when they do stop for the night, if we could, I mean, if it's okay with Modan, I'd like to attempt to approach again and again ask to again say we merely wish to trade.
Mm-hmm. Let me get a charisma roll from you.
Can I add advertising engineer to this?
Not for this one.
Not for this. Okay,
This is just to get their attitude better.
got it. That's a 9.
9 plus. Oh,
That is it's 7 plus 2 is a 9.
that will not improve their attitude. Would you like to add some hero dice?
I will add another hero die. I'm starting to run low on these. I rolled another 2. That's a 2. That brought it up to an 11.
I think we're getting a little bit more. I think if you spend that last hero die, we'll get
I'll
to talking.
I will. Okay, I will spend my last hero die,
Okay. Um,
and that's a
yeah,
5. So
great, fantastic. So as you approach with this, can you tell me like what is the thing that you do that finally convinces them to lower their weapons?
I use I use a phrase that you know, I think I use a phrase that I learned from those like out of from those time echoes.
Hmm. Fantastic.
I make a reference to I think I make a reference to somebody that the time echoes that I spent time with were referring to, like maybe their lead, maybe they made a reference to the leader, and
Yeah.
perhaps that individual is among these people
Hmm.
or among these ghosts.
Yeah. And
Would you happen to know? You know, would you happen to know? Would you happen to know? The name off top of Cromulus.
right. And they don't recognize the name, but they do recognize the language. And this is kind of like old Umber. There's there's kind of like there's a poetic quality to it, and almost like there's like a dimensionality to it that isn't present in common.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Was Old Umber one of the languages that I've been working on translating?
It was not, but I mean,
Okay,
it's one that you've been working on, but not one that you nailed yet. But
okay.
you do get some in the from your time in the Ghost World there. So I think them hearing you speaking in that language uh, moves them from hostile to let's talk. And I think the it's not full comprehension, but you're able to get points across. They 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 travel these lands, trading, and mostly just traveling. I think you get the impression that they don't
Do they know?
they
Do they
don't
know
actually
they're?
trade with people. They're like they just
Oh,
are traders, but they don't they don't go from place to place. They just kind of wander this
oh,
area,
okay,
time dilated.
okay. I was
Uh,
gonna say, do they know they're dead?
I think they recognize that they are not present in the same place that you are. I don't think they acknowledge that they're dead. They recognize that they are
Out
not.
of out, that they and I are kind of like out. They and I are kind of like out, slightly out of phase.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and you do get to let me get a name. Um, those are all two. Um, I think the word kind of the name in Old Umber is like the rough translation is like absorbing tragedy. I think you can call him that and call him that and get along with them. No, they will that is the name they will answer to.
Okay.
Um,
I introduce myself. I say I am a representative of um, what was our caravan is Triumph Ventures, a subsidiary of Onerix Unlimited.
mm-hmm.
Um, Onerix, we may have, and we are interested in trade what you might have, and Onerix has, and I basically I make the pitch for the dream tech
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that Onerix is offering. Can we say for the sake of argument that I've got a sales pitch and I've got some kind of sample I could give them?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about that sample. I want to hear it.
So I think the sample is, and I think I mean, if I think I'll spend a use of my traveling satchel to
Mhm.
say that I've got this, and um, it basically it looks at first like a little music box.
Mhm.
You turn the crank and you open the thing, but instead of like there being something, instead of being like a ballet dancer or something spinning around, there's a there's like an there's a crystal.
Mhm.
It's it's like a reproduction of old tech, but it's new
Mhm.
that my company has developed, and it it isn't it's kind of like a vidicrystal, but it doesn't project audio visually. It
It's
projects psychically,
yeah, love it.
and it's specifically designed to It's I mean, yeah, it projects psychically, and it's especially good for. It's especially vivid for creatures that don't have a physical body.
Yeah, great. Um, yeah, I think that's enough to get them like they're piqued by what you have. They have
I'm
they
going to call it. I'm going to call that I'm going to call this device an Onerix resonator.
Eric's resonator. Great. So absorbent tragedy I think is peaked and again kind of it's difficult to translate because it's a slippery concept in common, but kind of like saying like we are here in this land, we are not here in the world with you, but that that works on them, and it's like this is valuable, um, but we are interested in your trade. Um,
So I would be interested in like basically trading this sample and money if they want it to see and ask what they have to trade.
Yeah. So they have like large, like comically large bundles of trade goods that are all time dilated. You can probably figure out how to get them realized, but
Okay.
it might take a little bit of doing. But I think it's something, especially as a Onerics tech and a wizard. I think you're like, oh yeah, okay, this
Yeah,
is
we know
a problem. This
we know
is
how to do that. Yeah.
um, they will sell their bundles of archaic goods for 700 cash per sack, and they will probably be worth more than that when you sell them.
Yeah.
You can spend time haggling if you like.
I don't think I want to risk haggling with these creatures. I think I will accept their price because what they're offering is sufficiently weird that I'm sure we'll find buyers for to get more than what we wanted.
Mhm.
Let me check what our current cash situation is. We've got 4,000. Um, what, Heath, what do you think? Four sacks, 700 apiece?
Sure. We don't
Yeah,
often
let's
get
do that.
ghost goods.
Yeah,
Yeah, ghost goods. Four sacks, ghost goods.
yeah. They're time dilated. Yeah, time dilated trade goods. They're also willing to sell you some time dilated food supplies for the standard price. You would also have to figure out how to get those into the real world as well.
Got it. I think I will pass on that just because we've been doing a pretty good job foraging.
Cool. Um,
Um, yeah.
Modan, what do you? So there are caravan guards here, right? And they have weapons and kind of like a demeanor unlike they're clearly old. Their time echoes from when Umber was real. What do you notice, like, now that you have kind of got fighter vision? Like, what do you notice about the way they carry themselves, or the way they like pay attention when they're guarding? Like, what unique thing about this sort of time shifted old Umber guard do you realize?
That I think I don't know how the time shift works, but it gives them an advantage in that, like, to me, it seems as if the guards are a few seconds ahead of the rest of the caravan.
Yeah.
So that, like, when I move or whatever, it's almost like they anticipate my move.
Hmm.
So it's not like I move and then they change their guns. It's almost like, man, they've tracked me before
Yeah.
they almost knew I was going to move before I knew I was going to
They've already shot you before you
move.
thought about attacking. Yeah. Cool. Um, do you want to spend the night with them, or do you want to take your stuff and go?
I think we're going to take our stuff and go because just I think sleeping in a ghost camp, I don't know what good would come of it, but I can think of a whole lot of bad that would.
Yeah, yeah.
I will take their leave. Oh, and I will also offer them preliminary contract with Onerix Unlimited to see if they would be interested in purchasing more Oneric and purchasing some Oneric resonators.
Yeah. I think absorbing tragedy says, you've proven yourself to be an honest trader. We've traded now. And I think a lot of the goods are kind of chitin related, because these are old, like, they're bringing stuff from the chitin moguls to market, but market doesn't exist anymore. So if we want to realize some of those goods when they become real, like, we can make them into armor or whatever. If we
Okay.
um yeah, I think absorbing is like, yeah, you've proven yourself as a reliable trader. um
I will give him the sample Oneric resonator.
what would the price be for what you want to give him?
I mean, it's a single sample. It's a single sample one.
I
Oh,
mean, like,
actually,
what would the contract be?
Oh, what the con? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to the sample just so I can like show that to others in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the contract would probably be worth. I don't know. I think the contract would be worth for like at least 500.
great. Yeah. Yeah. So he says, "Yep, I bring the goods, and we find us again, and we will buy what you have."
I also would like to give him my bean spiel and basically give him a special, tell him about the new bean empire that's crossing the entire land, spidering out. And then if he sees one of my bean people, I give him like a special secret phrase. I'm like, just tell them that, Modan Fig, the bean king sent you, and they'll give you a discount on your first order of beans.
Can I get an aura roll from you?
Sure. Discount codes on your first order of beans. Aura roll. Aura was my aura. Where is my aura? There it is. Two. Hey, there's a roll. 18 total.
18. When after you talk to him for a while, he says that you look familiar, or there's something familiar about you, um, and asks if any of your ancestors are from the south or from the west.
Good question. Are they? I can't
It's up
remember
to you.
how things are laid. Oh, okay. So
Yeah, you're
I,
traveling west now, so this is far west of where you're from.
oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with like the purple lands where I originally came from or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is like our. Did your family move from here to where your farm is now, basically?
I don't think so. I think they've always been purple. They weren't ever. I think I'm the first one to really like
Hmm.
venture out to see the world. They were always just like, "Hey, we got a good thing going here. We have food on the table. We make a nice living. It's a nice little land we live in." They were pretty content to be there where they were.
Yeah, he says he sees something of old armor in you. Maybe it's farther back than you know.
Could be. There could also be ancestors I don't know about, or secrets family members have never heard.
Well, it will be good to see you again when we meet.
You as well.
Great. Let's get you back to camp. And yeah, I think we did that. We did that. Let's get your translation roll.
Okay, and that was another thought roll.
That was another thought roll. And make that roll with advantage. Roll twice and take the top one
Ooh,
because you spent time in the ghost.
got it. Okay, well, between a 13 and a 3, the 13 is better, plus 2 is a 15.
Cool. Yeah, let me get that language list again. I think you definitely. I think with what you know from the dream world and talking with the caravan, you're definitely able to nail that old umber line there. What do you get? 15 there. Cool. Yeah. You get another like almost dozen languages. I think you're up to 18 of the lines out of 34. No, 28 of the lines out of 34. Like you're almost there.
Okay, okay. Um, I'm
Uh,
sorry. I'm sorry. I got how many? I'm just writing that down.
28 out of 34. And the ones that you haven't gotten yet are like ones you're not even sure. Like you can kind of like, and a lot of the ones that you have, to be honest, are like you can like line up like what things mean. You're not sure what the languages are. You are fairly confident if you heard that or no, if you saw it again, you would be able like, oh, I know that.
I've seen that before,
Seen
even
that
if I couldn't
before.
read
I
it.
can probably translate it with this lookup table I made. Um, yeah, speaking it, another thing. Except for the umber, I think you're good on umber.
Nice.
Yeah. And that includes the Black City alphabet as well. Like I think
Ooh,
you've nailed
cool.
it as well as you can. Let's see. That's that. That's that. No days. Yeah, so that is that week, and we are at the end of the month. It looks like at the end of Green Month. Um, you all have spent a good amount of time here. Um, one, two, three. I think everyone is going to take. Let me double check. I think everyone's going to take. Where to go? 500 XP for these 2 weeks they've spent here each.
Nice.
You've done
Yay, I leveled up.
a lot of learning and growing. Cool. Let's come back at 10 after the hour, and we'll see what happens next.
Sounds good.
All right.
I have a question.
Nothing else got control Z.
Oh, no, because I imagine just control. Oh, that's a good question. I was thinking it was only Control Z stuff I had done.
I hope so. Yeah, that's probably right.
Hopefully.
Question. Yes.
Man, leveling up is always such a hard decision because, like, there's so many cool things you could do, but I just end up doing boring things. But one question I had, for example, is so my friend's skill, which I'm not really using, I can have I can have a number of pets or sidekicks equal to my level who don't take up an inventory slot.
Right.
Cool. So what would happen if I leveled that up to expert, since it's not really like a plus?
I don't know that would really get you anything.
I'm like, would I ever be using that on a roll for something?
I have a similar skill called Mind Palace that also basically lets me me have a number of spells equal to my level that don't count inventory slots. I don't.
It's not really. Just there's no reason.
You're never really rolling that.
The fighter path has one that's for weapons, so you can get like free weapon slots. I don't think those really level up.
Interesting. And I'm always tempted. Like part of me, as Mark well knows, I have a tendency like I want to play with all the toys in the toy box. And part of me's like, well, I want to see what happens. Well, I want to like level my beetle horse up and see what. But then I'm just like,
you could get your beetle horse a skill.
But I mean,
at level 1, it should have one actually.
Oh yeah, it should have one. What trait would the horse have? I don't know. Interesting.
Figure it out.
Good question.
But yeah, it's they level up. My understanding, I think I read it's the same. It's the same experience thing, whether it's a person, item, or
it's like if you you just like throw experience points at it. And you can
like
also
item, if you want an item to be
you can also have signature weapons that you can stick that you can dump experience points into as well.
So many cool options. I'll take a look at what skill a beetle horse
signature weapons do.
So let me look that up. Signature weapon. I was reading that recently, and let's see, where is it?
I think that's in it's in Synthetic Dream Machine. I don't think that's in the base book.
Investing experience hallmarks, that's what they're called. Each level of hallmark gains an upgrade such as +1 damage to each damage die, +1 defense, or a new trait, power, or complication. There are other upgrades listed in the equipment section, page 78. That will probably not be the same page for you. So there are, look at the list of like weapons and add-ons and stuff. You can add traits to it. You can add upgrades, features like extra storage, corpse fed, spell eater, stealthy, watchful, all sorts of stuff.
Now, could I make my crystal staff into a hallmark item?
100% good. Yeah.
Yep. 300 experience points will give it a level.
Yep. Yeah, and you can just spend that out of your experience that you have because you'll spend that experience on your on take 300 out and add that to your guy there. Yeah, yeah, you don't have to wait for yourself to level up to spend experience on other stuff. So if you're like, I haven't leveled up in a while, but I have a bunch of experience that I can throw at I can like make my dog level 3 or whatever.
So you could be
Okay.
level 1 with like a level 9 dog if you wanted
Good,
to.
yeah,
If you really wanted to.
you definitely could, which would be super fun. And yeah, I I need to revisit the exact rules for this in SDM, but your character, as we see, because we're assigning experience points to items and pets, your character does not get experience. You get experience. So
right.
if you die, if you're one of your characters dies, you still have that experience that you can invest in a new character. And I think it's 100%, but I'll double check. Cool. So we've learned some languages. We've learned to fight. We got some trade goods. We foraged some things. What else can we do while we are here? I think we've done the week's stuff. So the question is, do we want to get back on the road or hang out here some more?
We want to finish.
I
Finishing good.
I kind of want to finish doing the translation.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're close.
Yeah, you are close. Sweet. I think
Of course, I'm out of here, dice.
I think at this point it will be relatively easy for you to finish up. I think the role will be much easier for you.
Okay.
Now that you've got the bulk of it under your belt. I think at the end of the third week, barring a very bad roll, you will get it.
Can I say this counts as like? Can I say this counts as like taking a like starting working toward a new skill, which is languages?
Yeah, yeah. If you would like to, um, so I think you can either finish translation or apply that to your skill, do the learning for this week.
I think I'm going to apply it to the translation because then I'll have a guide I can study.
Yeah, yeah, and then you can study that on the road. Yep.
I think for my level up, I'm going to make my pleasant expert. I'm expert at being pleasant.
Super pleasant. That is going to be very useful soon, I think.
Okay, so I'm gonna. So I guess. So shall I make my copying roll?
Let's go to the top of the week.
Okay.
So spend supplies first, and we are into. This is the first week of Red Month.
Spend supplies.
Supplies spent. Next up is Misfortune Roll. I think we are back around to Modan.
At 1.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that bad.
That's not great.
That's bad.
Be interesting.
Cool.
Ain't got no hero dice. Because this has been a bad month for Modan.
Did you spend all your?
But I have a hero dice.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yeah, I spent all 3 of them on that.
Oh, I think that might be something that you control Z because you still have 3.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I have 0. Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
This would be a time disaster thing for you unless some hero dice are spent.
Now, is it just going to affect Modan, or is it going to affect
Modan?
So I'm going to do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, and I'm always interested in the past. So whatever's about to happen, I'm going to try and rescue Modan and get trapped by it myself.
Cool. So
I will spend as many hero dice as I need to. I guess I can start by rolling or just spend
all. You need to spend hero dice for that if you want to jump in.
Oh, okay.
Let me craft some fiction here. Yeah. So I think you have, because of your short time spent with the ghost caravan and sort of the seed that they planted in your mind that something of you is of old umber. I think over the next day or so, you start to feel yourself kind of mentally slipping, like time slipping a little bit. The mechanical effect is that a spell or skill will be disappeared into the land of the dead until restored by some adequately fabulous means. Um, and so I think the fictional mechanism there is that you are like some part of your what part is it? I guess is slipping, time slipping because of your contact with the ghosts. Um, Adoron, how would you intercept that? Like, I think you would notice this probably. So, how would you intercept that?
Actually, I have a possible solution. Um, hmm, let me think. It partly involves tea or drink.
Maybe Modan comes to you like, "Hey, my mind is going a little bit. Let's have some tea and figure it out."
Right. And
Right.
I am going to hold on. Let me go back to some of my previous notes. So, um, I am going to use some, where are they? A little bit further back. Yeah, what is that? I'm going to use some yellow brain shoe, which I'm very fond of, to help me, will help both of us get into a different state of mind.
Hmm.
And then Adoron is going to inject a little bit of their nanites into Modan while in this state and task the nanites with finding the this is a weird concept, but finding the not finding it's not a disease, but finding the region of Modan that is pulling Modan into the past. And
Hmm.
Adoron will then retrieve the nanites into their own being.
Yeah, it's like harmonizing with that time slippage and kind
Yeah.
of transferring it to you. Yeah,
Yes.
I like that. That should be easy enough to pull off. Um, yeah. So
And since I'm a master at this point with fleshlight clay.
yeah, that's not even a roll. Um, ooh, between traveler and merchant, which do you think would be the first to go? Do you think the most recent one, kind of, or like the thing that kind of brought you into who you are now?
Um,
I can offer you a third option
okay.
that is worse.
Okay.
um, Instead of losing traveler or merchant, I would give you the third mark on your garbled voices, but it's not gonna be good.
Oh, I'll take that. I want that.
Great, great. Um, cool. So you uh time slip and you see yourself as something that you do not recognize. Um, Not your body, but your yourself. I think it's your let me verify them. Like hakaba, hakaba.
Body is Pa, Ka is soul, and Ba is
yeah, so it's your personality that you're seeing.
okay. So it's a Ba,
Um,
or yeah, Ba.
and I think it's your the personality that's imprinted on this body, driven by this soul, is kind
Yep.
of peeled back a little bit,
Okay.
and that allows those voices to ramp up. And they've kind of been in the back of your mind for a while, kind of been uh, percolating and almost in conversation with subconscious, I think.
Yeah.
And um, the as your own personality kind of slips back, the meaning of the voices kind of clicks in. Um, you are the rebuilder, and you see yourself um, as a sort of a primordial, like creative force, like almost like a not a demigod, but like a demiurge, right? You're a this sort of personified creative force that is very, very old. Um, as your personality slips back, these voices reassert themselves, and you feel this personality uh, from long, long ago kind of impose itself upon you, and you're getting images and I guess memories of who you are and of things being stripped away from you, your body being pulled apart and like taken away from you, your your soul being kind of like unplugged from who you are and being fed into uh, something else using it for another purpose. And your personality is so strong that it um, just lays waste to anyone nearby you. Um, uh, Family, friends, lovers, acquaintances, anyone sort of in your sphere, whether they're nearby you or not, just fall dead. And you can kind of like see that time accelerating and just they're turning to dust and blowing away over the ages. And the voices start overlapping and just turn into this kind of like pulsing scream that just like it wrecks you, and the scream the frequency of the scream becomes slower and slower and slower, and before the Adoron personality kind of starts to fade back in a little bit, I think the last image you get from that, like the last scream, is from your viewpoint, high in the air, looking over the same lands that you've been traveling in, I think. And with like one last like extremely strong scream, you kind of pull yourself back. I think Modan, Adoron's just been freaking out, screaming loudly, babbling. Phaedred and Otto definitely hear this too. I think if you're anywhere nearby and come, like you probably have, and I think Adoron's body is also kind of reacting, like goes into the like spiky hedgehog kind of thing when the screams happen. Um, your body kind of elongates and comes back. Um, I think that that trait is going to be the rebuilder. Um, and I think your thought's going to drop to zero
Shock.
temporarily. I mean, you'll take 4
Oh,
points
that's fine.
damage, so it can be healed like normal.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, this is a bad time for you, and is going to take a little bit of recovery.
Right. Okay. So the trait is the rebuilder, and what? So uh at the moment, not only is Adoron's body spiky, but Adoron's body is not holding shape.
Yeah,
Their system is overwhelmed. So Adoron has become a spiky blob.
yeah. I think this is gonna take 4 days for you to get into a shape where you can travel again.
Oh, okay. Um, let's see. Thought zero.
And I think as you're recovering, the
And make a note that it's basically it's that your thought is still 4, but with a -4 penalty. Is that what you
yeah,
said?
basically. So you would take your thought if you want to do the same thing. Yeah, leave a note. Yeah, you got it.
Oops, I did agility somehow. That was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So my agility is 1. Let me just
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
agility is 1. Thought.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I think as you're recovering, the like you feel that rebuilder, like that is kind of like you get you're being drawn, like you feel a pull back eastward, I think.
Right.
Oh,
It's
are,
not
are
super
you being
strong.
pulled toward the Forbidden Tower?
Probably. But it's not just that. I'm probably being pulled back and forward between personalities too. Um,
Yeah, I think the that frequency of the screams, like it comes every few hours to every few days maybe, and like when you feel that kind of welling up, that's when you feel that strongest pull eastward.
right. Should we, I don't, should we add, let's see, how would we do that? Uh, what would be a trigger for the screams? Like, because if I can hear it screaming even from a distance,
Mhm.
then periodically it will scream and it will interrupt what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
what?
and I think that will be the like the when you roll poorly, that will be a reason.
Okay. Okay.
Basically.
We won't. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think the mechanical effect is your thought is messed up right now, and then that will be the fiction on top of bad rolls later on.
Right. I have a lot of healing to do.
Yeah. So does
Well, it's in life points, really, but
Modan. Yeah. um.
You need a spa day.
Yeah. So would you like to hang out here and recover some, or do you want to
That's.
get back on the road?
I think hanging out and recovering might not be a bad idea. I will tend to them, and maybe I'll do some foraging.
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. I need to make my encounter roll for y'all.
Oh, of course, it's also. Oh, and I also wanted to finish the translation.
Well, yeah, you need to finish the
Yeah. You can
translation.
finish the translation while
I'll
they're
finish the
oh,
translation while they're doing that, while they're
Yeah, I
recovering.
mean, I can recover and try my best to help tend me and Ottakar can watch Adoron.
yeah. Let's see. Traces and tracks.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm curious, does Ottokar react to Adoran's um, plight?
Yeah, I mean
I
they're
mean,
they're
and
concerned.
we'll explain to Ottakar, like, we've never seen him do that before.
Yeah, I think you all, you have, you are not strangers. You've been traveling for a
Yeah,
little while together now, and yeah, they are concerned for sure. And I think look to Phaedred and Modan, like, what can we do here? Like, well, how is this? Is this something that happens to them? Is there?
We've
No,
never seen that happen. I think we just kind of like need to let that take its course.
well, I think it had something. Okay, after we met the ghost caravan, I did not feel right. I was feeling like I was slipping in time, and then Adoron
And I
tried to
also
help me, and I don't feel that anymore. So whatever in me is seems to be gone, but that's now he's really messed up from whatever he took out of me.
wow, that's a true friend.
I am indebted.
Um, cool. Let's so great folk. What are those? Oh, I know what they are. Um Interesting. Cool. Keep that. We are at what's up there? We are at rest. Cool. So how resting works. A PC that does nothing all week can rest and you can recover all of your missing life. You can recover one stat to back up to its maximum, or you can remove one burden. I imagine, I imagine Modan wants to recover life back up to max.
Indeed.
Adoron, do you want to recover charisma or thought
Um,
or life?
I can probably help with some. I can probably help out with some life actually, because I just remembered I've got a healing spell.
Mm,
the thing about this is I'll recover charisma because it's not directly tied to the thing that Adoron is
yeah.
currently struggling with because it's I do not envision Adoron fully recovering quickly
Hmm.
in terms of the thought. I expect that Adoron is going to need some stuff.
Yeah. I think maybe like even that fits in because like as your body is doing its thing, it's rejecting all of that hardening that the chitin infection did.
I, the
Yeah.
player, forgot, and I, the player, forgot that Phaedred learned a spell of healing from the.
Yeah.
I forgot. So Heath, if you would rather do something else other than rest, or if you've got something else that you want to heal up, um, I would like to like, and I mean, if we could retcon this, like after Modan got beaten up by the bear from sparring, I the player totally forgot I had this,
Mhm.
but I would like to try to use Hell Aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Yeah, so that will let you spend 2 life to restore or remove 1d6 plus 1 life. And that you can that recharges overnight and you can do it once a day basically.
Got it.
And I was down 14 total now.
Now, I, I wrote this down. I didn't run it by you first, Mark, but I was thinking that because most spells have an overcharge.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggested that if I overcharge and spend double, I could either double the healing
Mm-hmm.
or heal someone at range.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I feel like we've got the time, and there's not really anything else I want to do, so I might as well not,
Or you could, I
harm
mean, you could
harm your.
forage. We're kind of out of supplies.
True. It would take several applications of that probably to
I
to heal
was gonna
up.
say you were how many down?
14
But yeah, that's six
This
out
wouldn't
of
bring it.
20.
This wouldn't necessarily bring you up to full, but if I could try over, I could spend 4 of my life to
Yeah.
heal 2d6 plus 2, which
Mhm.
would make a pretty decent dent.
Well, and also, I mean, it seems like Phaedred wants to do this, and Modan is a much better forager than Phaedred is.
Mm. And basically you're trading your life for his so because you're down for life as well.
Yeah, I'm down 4 life, but I will hopefully and yeah. So let's see. Let's see what we get.
We'll get it back at least for life.
You get 9 life back.
Nice.
I'm feeling somewhat better. Good
Uh,
enough to go foraging anyway.
cool. Let's go ahead and make your foraging roll then. That's going to be your traveler plus your thought, I believe.
That's what you did before.
Yeah.
Finally, my expert traveler comes into play, does it?
Yeah.
So expert is +6,
Expert is
right?
+6.
Plus the
And well, I'm sorry, what else do you say? Plus thought as well?
Yeah.
So +8 total. Let's do some foraging. Yeah, here we go. 17.
Cool. That'll get you 3 sacks of supplies.
Look what I found, guys!
Perfect. You found 3 sacks of supplies, which we need to spend, and we need to spend 3 sacks of supplies. So,
Everybody,
yay!
Cool. And Phaedred, you're just gonna let me get a roll. Unless it is disastrous, you will get the rest of the languages or written down.
Okay. That's a 12.
Great, no problem. Yeah, so you got the full Stele transcribed. So you can definitely use that to start learning languages.
Nice.
I think also your so several things. 3 weeks of study and transcription. This will allow you to do some studying to get at least the first level of language skill.
Okay, so I can just say that I've got that.
Yeah, so what you can spend a week to get that.
Oh, I can spend a week to get that. Got it. Okay.
But you have that resource at hand. You don't have to seek anyone out for that first level.
Nice.
The other thing, that plus your business acumen, you realize that this is a valuable resource.
Okay.
So if you wanted to trade it or make copies, which would take some time and trade it, it might be valuable to certain people.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are definitely languages on there that you do not recognize, but like you have a basic grasp of. So you're pretty confident that you haven't seen a language that you wouldn't be able to, with some effort, work out with this.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
Great. So that's that. What else we got? That is that week. I think we rolled over. Let me see. Yep, we rolled over to another week on there. So we're going to get a bonus week. So I need another misfortune roll.
I think that's my turn this time. Roll well, roll well. 13.
13. Great. Silent. The should I get that again? Yeah, same thing. I think over the week or two that you're finishing this up, whoever is keeping watch, you do see the lights of a caravan and not a ghost caravan on the distance. They don't approach though. You would have to travel at least a day to catch up with them, I think. But they haven't spotted you and they're far off.
Hey, real quick, I just had an idea because you said beetle horse should technically have a trait, right?
Yeah.
What about, and you can also just kind of make traits up, right? Because obviously there's not too many in there. So I was thinking, what if beetle horse, that reminded me, so I was foraging, what if his trait was like forager? Because he probably forages for food around and maybe, so like he can always like, if I follow him around, he'll always take me to a good fertile spot.
Add his skill to yours with your roll.
Oh yeah, either that, or I was even thinking maybe just something like because of that trait, like we get, I don't know,
someone else could go with the horse and
a sack of
like he's like a truffle pig. Like you can take him around and he'll show you where some good stuff is.
Yeah.
If you want to add forager skilled, we'll say that whoever has beetle horse around can add that +3 to their forage roll. Sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. And I think that takes us back to the top of the order. So we're in the second week of Red Month. The winter is officially over. You are in prime travel time. The living is easy and the cotton is high. And you've spent a month here easily.
Yeah,
I think.
we spent like 4 weeks here.
Yeah.
I think it's time to get back on the road.
Yeah, cool. On the road again. Great. So getting back to follow numbers free, that 5 days is there and back. So you can either look around for more destinations at or discoveries at follow number, or you can pick a new place to travel to. What do you feel like?
I would be okay with poking around, or I would be okay with poking around some more. Or if we want to start heading, if continue on our journey, I guess the next most logical direction would be to head south toward Behemoth Shell,
Westward?
westward.
Yeah. And Adoron, you still feel that strong pull eastward, the other direction.
Okay. So is Adoron at least able to maintain shape now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're able to maintain shape, but you're you can see what you got here. Yeah, it's
Ad-
just an effort, is all.
and Adoron, what happened? Are you okay? Are you okay to travel? We're really concerned for you, we are really concerned for you, my friend.
I I'm lost in voices. Um mm, too much. Mm, I can walk.
Okay, if you want to ride in if you want to ride in one of the carts, we've got plenty of room. One of the carts is empty.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
That's where the money was.
He walks in and lies down with the money.
Well, I mean, our supply cart is currently empty. We've got no
Oh,
supplies.
whichever one. Yeah.
That's right.
And I've got a
That,
beetle horse.
and we've got a beetle horse. The other thing that dawned on me is we do have 5 sacks of odd fruits, which are like 10 times as much money as supplies, but we could just start eating those.
In a pinch, yeah. Cost benefit might be better to starve for a week or two, but it's up to you.
Well, I
Forage.
mean,
We can forage.
Yeah, you can always forage.
Forage.
yep.
Great. So yeah, what's the plan? There's also south facing passage. So options are officially um resting in a
How
station.
how strong is Adoron's desire to go east? Like, does he try to get us to go east, or is it just more?
I think
How
it
much?
comes and goes with those like screaming phases, right? Like so every couple hours to day or two, you get that sort of like it almost feels like a physical like tug from your core, kind of, and then it bursts out for a few minutes and then fades, but you feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, Aderon does not consciously at this moment wish to go east.
Yeah,
The other voices do. Aderon's like, yeah, we need to resolve some things before we do that.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it'd be great if we could find a settlement around here, but I guess if barring none, I mean, I guess we could try to like find one, like look for discoveries and hope we find one, or alternatively, let's just continue heading west because
Mhm.
that's the way we're going.
Cool.
But and I will say that Aderon, well, okay, different issue. Skip that thought. Continue.
Cool. So I think then we will just stop here and start traveling next time.
Okay,
Cool.
works for me.
All right. Want to do a quick round of stars and wishes?
Sure,
Sweet.
I am happy to start. Start a mark for the ghost caravan. That was cool. That was cool. Got to check a box on my um like longer term goal.
Hmm.
Um, Teal, big star to you for opting to take the hit. That's you know
Yeah.
that was really cool. That was like a I don't know if you play Trophy, but that was a very Trophy play to lose kind of move. Like deliberately taking the like guided by weird voices. Whatever that's going to be, it's not going to be good. Like I want that. That was awesome. Um, and yeah, Heath, I just loved the. I'm gonna try to talk up my Bean Empire to the ghosts. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Give him a little discount code. I'll get him
Yeah.
suckered in. Get him on the grout.
And
Uh,
I don't really have any specific wishes other than like keep bringing on the weird.
yeah, awesome. Cool.
Although I guess I will say, I guess I will throw one wish. I would like to find a settlement along here just so that we could, try to resupply and, maybe unload some of the trade goods that we've acquired. Oh, and I also need to figure out how to we also need to spend some time to figure out how to make our ghost goods into earthly goods.
Oh.
that's right.
I was hoping maybe if they're just time dilated that they come into being after some time, maybe.
I may need to make a wizard roll and figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, I think that's possible. Awesome, cool. Heath.
Yeah, the usual stars, everyone, especially like I remember when we were at the stone Stele, like being a bit cold addled. I was just at a loss. I was like, I feel like this is something we should interact with in some way, but I can't think of any way to interact with it. But then like both Phaedred and Adoron found like cool, interesting things to do. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I was just like, cool, okay. Glad y'all thought of something. And then yeah, always fun when Adoron is always the shining beacon of selflessness. And then always interesting to see somebody opt for the you can have this, or this third thing that's going to be real bad. Yeah, that one. Wishes. Now that I think my next 300 or whatever experience is going to go to Beetle Horse. I think now that I've given him a trade, I'm like, oh, now I've got another idea for a Beetle Horse trade.
I mean, you've got the experience. You can spend it.
Well, I mean, I've already spent the 300 you gave us earlier. I
Right.
upped my friend, my Pleasant. But next 300 or whatever.
Cool.
Find some ideas for upping Beetle Horse. And then, yeah, not much else. I like kind of just following the winds in this game and just being, where are they going to take us? Let's see.
Awesome.
Fun.
Thanks. And Teal.
Yeah, so my first stars go to you, Mark, partly for doing such a good job of playing with the theme of time in this region. And that's been something that all of us have been able to really get involved in. And also the other thing I would say is I'm glad that you didn't pressure us to move on from the Stele, because it doesn't do anything per se, but as a source of information for us, a knowledge, it's really cool, it's powerful, and it not everything we need to do has to be obvious in direct an outcome.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed that we hung out in the desert and we translated poetry. Like, that's really cool. Even though it didn't get very far, Keith, I really was feeling how Modan was starting to be pulled into the past. Like, I don't know if you were trying to convey this, but I had this sense of, oh, Modan's getting lost. And it wasn't just like Mark was describing something, it was you embodied it well until it transitioned. And I was curious to see where it would take you, and yet on the other hand, of course, didn't want you to like slip away into the past. So I like that. And Mike, I really liked you interacting with the ghost caravan. That was that was really cool. Um, and this is the kind of thing that Ultraviolet Grasslands is really good at, is juxtaposing us into like how often do we have the, oh, I want to conduct sales to ghosts, like, you know but it's such a cool concept. So of course I had a blast. um uh and as far as wishes go, I'm just interested in seeing what comes next. Mark, I want to thank you for allowing me to complete my
Yeah.
my Bane Tower trait, because I wouldn't have thought about that, but that was perfect.
Mhm.
And it gives me a sense of completion, great suffering, but completion. Um, and it really, so one of the things that keeps happening for me is Modan's or Adoron's so open to things. Modan is too, actually, but that Adoron keeps having these experiences where they're like, oh, there are consequences that are associated with this, like with the healing
Mhm.
robot, and it was like, oh, this is cool, except, oh, no, I can't reach my faceplate. Because when Adoron did that, I don't know, that's the previous session, but Adoron was like, oh, it's tech, it will be fine. Wrong. And this is like just a whole nother layer of just like, oh, the past has some, I hesitate to say bad things from Adoron's point of view, but just let's say some painful things.
Some impactful things.
Impactful, yes. Highly impactful, yes. So it's really, as a this is all, like pulling me in all these different directions. And Adoron's like, oh, what is trade? Oh, what is, like, what are beans? Well, whatever the thing is, and then to suddenly like get thrown into, I mean, I volunteered, but to get thrown into the past and the devastation and stuff. I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Awesome.
So my wish is just to keep suffering in entertaining ways.
Fantastic.
And also, I think, you brought up, even though you've taken away the what affliction that I had or whatever, I do think it's like, it's probably, it's left seeds of like things
Yeah,
that Modan's gonna want to investigate now and be like,
Mhm.
this is
that's
weird. They thought,
cool.
that the caravan felt like I had some connection with the old Umber, and then this time, so I feel like it's planting like there might be things I need to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about a game like this, is finding connections that your character has to the past that you didn't know about.
Mhm. Mhm. Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, I appreciate, I reflect that appreciation that you just like, yeah, we're just gonna hang out at this location that is like a stone in the middle of nowhere for a month and change and just like do our shit. That was really great. I like that a lot. And a lot of like for not traveling anywhere and not going to new places, like we had a lot of things happen and that was really cool. So kudos to everyone for their part in making it all cool.
If I could do a quick interruption,
Yeah.
Mark, what was the name of the leader of that ghost caravan? Because I'm putting them in the NPC list.
That was absorbing tragedy, a rough translation from Old Umber.
Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, my name generator does not have Old Umber names. Like Bella di Dominia, like, that's Greenlander or Yellowlander. Um, cool. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just to reiterate, I had a blast. We sat in one place for a month, and Phaedred like pretty much filled a blank journal with this like translation, which I think is going to be super cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna
going
be
to be a
super
super
cool.
cool thing to have.
Awesome. Well, thanks to anyone who's listening or watching, and we'll see you next time.